Welcome back to the Compass Mining Podcast. My name is Jarrett, and today I'm excited to share with you a behind-the-scenes conversation I recently had with Vishnu Mackenchery, who runs global logistics and is a project manager here at Compass Mining. Vishnu and I were recently out in Salt Lake City attending the Blockworks Permissionless event, which is one of the premier crypto events in North America, back in October, and we talked about the behind the scenes of not only the Bitcoin mining industry, but some of the unique opportunities and challenges that occur at Compass Mining. So here's our conversation, and I hope you enjoy it.
You'll be shocked though about, especially like working like the operations side, right? Like when people think about Bitcoin mining, they don't think about us renting like excavators or cranes or bulldozers or dumpsters, right? And the amount of times that I've like called a crane company, I'm like, hey, I'm working for Compass Mining. Like I need a crane or a 100-ton crane for whatever job it is, right? And they're like, oh, what are you guys mining? I'm like,
gold,
Bitcoin.
Gold, platinum, copper, silver.
Yeah.
What precious metal?
Exactly. Majority of people always think we're mining, right? And so it's very funny because they're always like, why is there a physical part of this? And like, there's a whole physical aspect of this.
Well, I think that's the hidden side that not a lot of people see. Even Compass people like myself who aren't around the day-to-day physical side of it, we just don't see that. And I know that at any one time right now with Compass, there's, 50, 60 people picking stuff up, moving stuff around, trying to work with someone to move an excavator or whatever. And these are just things that aren't taken into account. And I think here we are right now at Permissionless in Salt Lake City. There's a digital side to this in crypto, which is not tied to the physical.
Yeah.
And so I think people just totally assume, like for example, when you put something up in the cloud, it's like, oh no, it's just in the cloud. And it's like, no, it's physically somewhere on a server.
Correct.
For you, it feels like the cloud. And I feel like most of crypto is like that. Bitcoin is so unique. And so I don't know, when people think of digital currency, they don't think that there's anything tied to it physically. And that is definitely a hurdle that, I don't know.
And that's a big part of like why, like, one, the educational part that, you and Curtis and CJ do consistently, right? But educating people on, there's a whole infrastructure part of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, any currency really, right? There's a whole...
Well, in theory.
In theory. But yeah, there's a whole physical part of Bitcoin mining and Bitcoin itself, right? And like you mentioned, like here, a lot of these individuals here probably don't realize that. With us bringing machines here to this conference and they're seeing it and they're like, whoa, this is a big machine.
The first time I picked up an ASIC, I was blown away at how much it even weighed. I was kind of like, wow. And then just imagine moving all these things and now having seen facilities and all that. And you're in the logistics side. So most of your job is moving physical things around, not only the country, but the world. And logistics in general, how much of a part of Compass's and just Bitcoin mining success does that play a part? Because what I mean is when people look at Bitcoin mining, they're probably thinking, okay, you have to get energy, right? The focus yesterday on the conversation we heard with Representative John Curtis, we had Fred Thiel, we had Matt from CleanSpark, we had CJ, and we had Lee Bratcher. Most of the focus was on energy. They weren't talking about, hey, what's the shipping rate to get the miners and the pallets from point A to point B? So how much of a part, like how slept on, I guess is the words I'm trying to look, is logistics in the entire industry?
So like, one of the big things is what you mentioned, right? The big thing is that we're always looking for cheap energy. Energy, access to good energy, right?
Yeah.
And we can find that energy. We can find those sources, right? But the issue comes is how do we move these machines from point A to point B, what you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of where myself and some others found like an opportunity that we can grow into, right? This industry as a whole is a very immature industry, right? It hasn't been here for very long, right? It's continuously adopting and becoming more mature over time. That being said, new departments, new organizations are being created consistently to help maintain and sustain a lot of Bitcoin mining infrastructure, right? So with the logistics side, yeah, there was a huge need, right? I saw Compass didn't have a logistics department. We saw it, we were like, this is a huge need, right? We're consistently moving machines. So whether it be from purchasing, right? If we purchase directly from Bitmain, we have to ship it all the way here to the States and get them plugged into our data centers where we have the lowest energy possible, right? But also when the machines go down, we have to ship it to a repair center, or we have to ship it to our clients, right? We ship it to Denver, then to our clients individually, right? So seeing that aspect was a shocker, I want to say, to a lot of people, to see like, oh, this is a huge part of what we do, right? Especially coming from the retail side, right? So a lot of the like pubcos or larger miners won't have to deal with so much shipping, as most of their repair centers are near their mines or near their facilities, right? On Compass's side, we deal with retail clients, right? We're sending parcel shipments out, right? Because as a retail client, you have the right to own your asset if you want to take it home with you. And we are the ones that fulfill that order.
Yeah, I think that that's something that's definitely slept on, maybe unique to Compass and other people that are doing the MOQ of one hosting. Mm-hmm. They're not dealing, I read Anthony Power articles and he's talking about how these pubcos are building 200 megawatt facilities. Then they're going to be able to bring everything there to be vertically integrated. But we have facilities all around North America, both in Canada and the US. And I do think this is something that's almost lost. And I personally, on the media side, would like to make more content around it. It can be another logistic to create that content.
Yeah.
I can't ask someone who's driving a pallet, driving something that's moving pallets to like, hey, set up a tripod and do it. So these are things that it's almost like too, when it's, out of sight, out of mind. So
exactly. And I think it's a very good term used. Like, it's very slept on.
Slept on. I didn't know another term. I know that's a little colloquial maybe, but
right. But it's a good term, right? It's a part of the industry that's not very seen, the supply chain part, right? And it's obviously, when you look at it, if the supply chain breaks, you're not getting machines online. So the cheap energy you got, it doesn't matter as much, right? So I think that's a big part of it, and something that shouldn't be so slept on. And I don't think it is now, right? So for Compass's side, right, we saw such a need. We built a whole logistics department. But to help our clients, right, our number one goal, right, and you can talk to Paul, which I'm sure you have, and a lot of people see this, right, is that we want to make sure our customers have the best satisfaction, right? We had a bad rep in the past. We put our hand up, right? We owned it. Now moving forward, we want to fix it. One of the ways that we're going to do that to optimize our logistics on the MOQ of one is that we're going to be partnering with a new company, still going through the paperwork right now. It will be public in the next few weeks. So, but with that, we're going to be able to reduce our cost to the shipping to our clients, which is going to be a significant part to a lot of these miners that are also coming offline just due to profitability. And instead of, selling it back to Compass and they want to take possession of it, they may want to host it at their house. They may want to do anything with it, right? They're going to be able to do that and not have that shipping burden of that high cost in them anymore, as we continue to reduce our costs and passing that reduced cost to our clients, which is going to be super unique to see.
Yeah, any idea on that launch? I know we're recording this in October. This may change when we put this content up because we don't want to be here. We can continue down this way.
Yeah.
Any idea on the launch of that? And I say that knowing that most pubcos say we're going to have X amount of megawatts online X date. Mm-hmm. They normally miss, and this is because building, permitting, infrastructure, energy, this stuff isn't easy. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were asking me about a backup that happened. I forget if this was an internal conversation or I was talking with an external, but I believe it was a comment that was left on X. And it was like, hey, what's the backup? Why is this taking so long?
Right.
And it's like, have you ever tried to redo your kitchen? Because if you have, you got to get an electrician in there. You got to get a plumber in there. You need a designer in there. You need maybe someone's got to frame something. Maybe you get tile done. Mm-hmm. You have to coordinate all of those things. And maybe you have to have the city come in and make sure everything is good as far as the electrical. And that's just a kitchen. So I think it's also slept on, and how when you're trying to get new megawatts online, new power online, just the challenges that can happen.
Oh, so many things can go wrong, right?
Never mind moving the miners, like you're saying, literally around the country.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of variables that could happen, right? So part of my role, that public release for that new partnership, we hope, like you said, we're recording it today in October. We hope to have it fully functional by the end of November. And
Okay.
start passing those costs off going into December.
That's great.
Yeah, so we're super excited about it. It's a company that's going to be centric. This partnership we're working with is this company that's going to be centric to crypto mining, and they're specifically just in logistics and supply chain. So we're super excited to partner with them on this new venture. But going back to your question, yeah, so part of my role at Compass is obviously leading up our global logistics and project management departments.
Right.
So we handle a lot of, for when we deploy a new site, my team will handle everything from purchasing or sourcing the units that are going to be filling those slots, as well as working alongside with Tim Harrington, the head of facility ops, to make sure that we have a schedule on how we're deploying and then what's needed to get that deployment done. So whether it be people, whether it be equipment, whether it be, I don't know, parts, right? Understanding all the things we need. And then our team will handle that whole project deployment. Once deployed, it's kind of handed over to Tim's team. Tim's team then maintains that, obviously, site running. But that being said, what you mentioned, there's a lot of aspects that go into it. You'll be shocked. There'll be one day that it's raining and we're like, we can't do anything because the whole field is mud and we're getting corn in here, whatever it may be. Or, you know, there may be a PDU out, or there's a lot of different aspects. And like you mentioned, like that was a good analogy, like with a kitchen. Redoing your kitchen, you have a lot of people in the play, right? Trying to build a data center, even more, right? And you hope that you have good project management teams on site managing everything, right? That being said, things happen. Things consistently happen, right? We recently had at one of our facilities a transformer blow up. So we were like, well, we didn't expect that to happen. But something that's very unique about Compass is that we're quick to adapt, right? We've learned in the past that was the only way that we're going to survive in this industry, is that we're able to adapt quickly and move forward. So many times, for example, like this transformer blowing up, we were able to send a team in within 48 hours, get boots on the ground, assist our already team there, de-rack all those machines on those transformers, and put them on another rack that we had open, that we haven't filled yet. And to see that happen within less than 72 hours of a transformer blowing up and our team being on the ground, de-racking, pulling everything, putting them on another rack, fantastic. And to mind you say, those are all client-owned units. They're not Compass-owned, those are all client-owned units.
It's amazing.
Yeah, our number one priority was to get them back online.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the most unique things about Compass, and I've already kind of said it, but it's like the pubcos, the other people that have as much exahash as we do online, they don't have to deal with the same challenges that we deal with because we are retail facing.
Yeah.
And we know that, and Paul said it, and I think it's something to reiterate. It's like, if you have one miner with us, then that's 100% of your hash. And if that goes down, 100% of your hash is offline.
Correct.
And I would say at any one time, I was saying the other day, you know, let's say you have 10,000 miners in any facility, in any outfit in the world. I would say at any one time, it's reasonable to think that maybe 1% may not be working.
Right.
Right. And so that's 100 miners. And Compass has around, 60,000 miners up on. So there's always going to be miners that maybe need some repair, maybe need to come down, maybe need to be relocated. Like you said, maybe there's a power outage and you have to step in. And these are just things that, you know, when I hear Fred Teal talk from Marathon, he doesn't have to deal with these things.
No.
It's just a little bit different.
No.
So the challenges we have are unique to the value that we're honestly and the services we're offering to people.
Yeah, and I think like Tim Harrington says this and always says this about us, right? Because we're lucky, we get a lot of praise from our partners that we work with, but also from our clients, is that like we care. Like everyone from our leadership, middle management, directors, VPs, all the way down to our guys that are like moving boxes, right? Care. They care about Bitcoin. They care about continuing to hash. They care about our clients. And understanding the fact what you and Paul and many people in our company say, right? If one client unit's down, that's the one unit, they're done. That's all their hash gone. It's not that they're operating at a 98% uptime right now, they're done, right? So understand that process and understand the importance of getting that one unit, that 2 units up, 3 units up, right? Our clients that have 1,000 units and our clients that have 1 unit, we try to keep them the same understanding, right? Our goal is to get you back online the quickest possible, right? So I think it's unique to see that, and what you said, like it's very different than a lot of pub codes. A lot of pub codes don't have to deal with that. We do, but that's a space that we want to be in.
Exactly. The challenges are equal to the services that we offer. And as you said, you came into logistics and Compass didn't really have a logistics department. And now we do, because we have completely different opportunities and challenges than other outfits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Compass Mining. Be sure to go ahead and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on a podcast platform, please go ahead and subscribe as well. And make sure you're following us on social media at Compass Mining on X, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thanks once again for checking out this episode, and we'll see you next time.